First things first. Just drinking with Bronson, dude.
Yeah. Got my
Let's get a
coffee.
cup. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, man. It's good we could do this, man. I know I've been back and forth, but we sliced out a time.
Yeah, man. It is really nice, and I think it is something because you have reached out to me on Discord, and on Reddit before. You actually commented on like the first video I ever put up. You're a super encouraging dude, and I think
Thanks,
I appreciate it, and I know like the entire community does. But when I did a video like not my last video, the one before that, where I just tried to talk about Flesh and Blood a little bit, I wanted to get away from just opening packs because I feel like content creation is kind of a hard thing to find your groove in.
Yes.
I think when you start, you look at channels for Pokemon and Magic like Leonhart and a bunch of other people who just kind of have their bread and butter in pack opening. And you think like, oh man, all I have to do is get a couple of boxes. I can open up some cards, and that is fun. It's 100% a fun thing to do, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Over a long period of time.
Unless your wallet is huge, yeah, it's not sustainable.
Right, and it's honestly like, if you look at the Flesh and Blood subreddit, some people feel some kind of way about pack opening as like being the sole content creation that you do, So I think it's good for people to really just get out there and do whatever you can that you're comfortable with. If it is opening some packs, if it is talking about lore, and like not to get discouraged by people saying that like that isn't content creation.
Oh, it for sure is. Any video you put on YouTube or anywhere, anytime you talk about Flesh and Blood, it's content creation. And everyone has their different. It's like an ice cream shop, I say. Everyone has their different flavor of ice cream that they like, and if people don't like to watch those videos, they don't have to watch them. It's no big deal. But those videos are actually a lot harder than people let on, I think. I don't know. I am terrible at box openings, dude. Like, when I open a box of Flesh and Blood or any TCG, I like to just have, my nice quiet space and just open the cards and not worry about it. But when you're trying to, like, find cool and funny commentary to say in the cards, and then you open the same common card 4 times in a row, are you going to really make the same joke 4 times in a row? It gets a little, it's hard, and I think a lot of other people do it a lot better than me. But I mean, to your point, it looks a lot easier than it really is. But no, man, honestly, I just love seeing so much more content. Honestly, it doesn't matter what people are producing. I mean, but yeah, I mean, so I've seen a couple. So you produced one video recently where you talked about just everything was going on, and I really liked that. You had a really good flow to it, man.
Yeah, I think I mean, dude, I can just talk. It's something that I think that I have had to be aware of when I am like in person with somebody having conversations. Most of the work I've done in my life has been that kind of customer service, human relations kind of thing of just talking to people. So I can kind of get on a tear and just go for a while. And it was when I go to my local game store and I talk to my friends that I've met there, like we can just talk for like 20, we'll finish a round and just talk nonstop until the pairings go up again. So I just have all these, and I'm super plugged into this game, dude.
Oh,
like,
same, man.
So it's like I'm on the Instagram. I watch so many other YouTubers when they're talking about Flesh and Blood. I search it like 2 or 3 times a day. So it's like I have opinions, like everyone else, and I feel that like it's fun to talk about those. And really, it was. So if you look at my channel, you'll see that before that video, which I put out, I think it was like last Sunday or Saturday or so. But my last video before that was a month previous, and it was a box opening video. And I got to this point when I was just, because all my videos before that have all been me opening packs. Sometimes I tried to open 6 packs at once and like go over it to see what the sealed deck could look like, kind of like a limited thing. But I hit this point where I was just like, yeah, I was getting burned out. I had bought like 6 or 7 boxes. I had gone through them. It wasn't kind of like fulfilling in that sense.
Yeah.
And then during that day, I played a skirmish, and I played Louis from Kitchen Table.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Which
in that skirmish. And I think it was the Lucky Gaming one.
Oh, nice. I was in that. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, dude, that's one thing I love about Skirmish, dude. And we can talk about that in a minute. I think Skirmish is top notch.
Oh, yeah.
But when I played Louis, it was a super close game, super fun. But at the end of that game, me and him ended up talking for like 15, 20 minutes just about like Flesh and Blood, the art, the drone ban, everything along those lines. And he was streaming while we were talking, and he was like, "Hey man, that was a fun talk. You know, some people in my stream were they really enjoyed it." So it really kind of like hyped me up to where I was like, "Oh shit, man, like let me just record a video." And I mean, my camera is
That's
like
so
pretty
cool.
low. Yeah, my camera's low quality. This is my bedroom. You know, my girlfriend will be like over here sometimes. So it's just like, it feels a little awkward sometimes too, you know, because it is like an intimate thing. Like this is my bedroom, you know? So it's like, it can feel weird being like posting a video online of being like, all right, yeah, here's just me at night in my bedroom talking about Flesh and Blood.
Well, I don't know about you, because I used to do that too. And when you see like the background, it might look like this is all put together, but literally like I'm like cornered into the back of my room. Like if you look at the rest of my room, it's all like, you know, mess. So,
yeah, that's something you brought up in the video where you were talking about wanting to do collaborations, because you were talking about Cobra Pearl as well.
Yeah.
Just being like, hey, like these, it's easy to kind of separate mentally for like the viewer to just be like, oh, okay, yeah, they're just in the void of Flesh and Blood. They've got cool posters, but like for the person recording, it can be a lot to ask to be like, hey.
Yeah, and it's tough because it's like you don't want to be wrong when you're saying stuff. It's me, and I know, you know, I say over and over, and I'm always grounded, man. I say I'm just a normal guy in a normal room, because I don't want that pressure of, oh, you know, Bronson always has to be right. You know, everything this guy says is I've been wrong so many times in the past, and it's fine. And it's nice when you do have this feeling as a and I don't know if I'm a content creator, man. Like I feel more of like a content interactor. Like
You're like an ambassador, dude.
no, I'm not an ambassador. Maybe man of the people. I hope I'm seen as that.
I think so, man. Because I imagine, I know that you were the first person to ever reach out to me and be like,
thanks, man.
Hey, dude, like that was watchable. And I think when you first put
I
out
didn't
a video,
say that, did I? That was watchable.
Yeah,
Great job.
Yeah, I didn't hate that. No, but I think when you first put out a video, like just that like means the world.
I know.
Like, yeah, to just be like, hey, dude, I watched your entire video. You're like, holy shit, dude, thank you. You know? So I have a feeling that you do that often.
I do.
Of just hyping people up, dude. Of just
no,
being
I
like,
really
hey,
want to, man. Anytime I see a new
keep doing
content
it.
creator, anytime I see a new content creator saying, "Hey guys, I'm a new person. I made one video." I try to like, you know, watch the video, say, "Hey, you're doing a great job," and you know, keep it up, and I'd like to see more. And it's just that little minuscule of like feedback. It's a feedback loop, like a positive feedback, and it doesn't even have to be, you know, too much of a like, you know, essay. Just like, hey, great video, keep it up. Like, I don't know.
No, man, I agree with you, man, and I try to do that myself on the subreddit, and YouTube comments. I think YouTube comments go a long way, dude. Like if you just drop a comment on someone's stuff, because like when you have a YouTube video and you know you get these views, it'll say 200 views, and you're like, sick. And then you go and look at your analytics, and it's like people have watched, on average, people watch 30 seconds. And you're like, oh shit, okay. You know, like you're trying to figure out how to make it, you know, like more accessible to people. But just getting a comment of someone being like, oh, hey, I found this really, really informative, really enjoyable. Thank you. Like, that's one thing I love about the Flesh and Blood community is everyone is super positive and enjoys hyping people up. And it's not like full blown circle jerk. It's not like, you know, it's not
well
like for
put.
like, follow for follow, you
Yeah,
know, it
I'll follow
is
you if you follow me.
right. Yeah. Like it's, you know, I've yet to hear people really get on that, you know, smash the subscribe button train. So I think that now that it's really starting to take hold in North America, um, shit's gonna pop off, dude. And I'm
Oh,
so
for sure.
excited.
And I really want to harp on too that it's not that I'm doing things because, you know, I want to make people, you know, feel good at the end of the day. It's I think a lot of people out there have a shit ton of potential. They have a ton of potential to be, it's just all about the reps. And when you made one video, you know, you haven't gotten a lot of reps in, but if you go like 3 months in making content, you get so much better over time. And when I first started this stuff, man, my videos were pretty bad. Like, you know, the quality was like pretty bad. And I've realized that I've gotten better over time. So when I see people come out right at the gate and they're making like, you know, really good content, I'm like, damn, like you're so much further ahead than I was. And, you know, overall, you know, the more content that's out there, the better, because the more people get into the game, you know, and we're gonna have other content creators come up that are just, you know, they blow stuff out of the water. Like I really enjoy, you know, this guy Jesse from Fab Cracks. You seen his videos?
I haven't.
Oh, dude, he's making some really good stuff. Like the first video he made, it was about like he did an homage video of all the current content creators, and then now he's doing a lot of really cool like lore videos. But you know, he's a really
Oh,
prime
that's super
example.
cool.
Yeah, and then Rob from Tolarian Dropouts, he's been really kicking it the last 2 months with streaming, and it looks
Yeah,
legit.
Rob's
Like,
awesome, dude.
yeah,
South Florida as a whole is
yeah,
it, dude. I think like the Florida Flesh and Blood scene is gonna be awesome.
yep. It's we're fellow oranges, right? Yeah, because you're South
Yeah,
Florida,
dude.
right?
Yeah, West Palm Beach.
Nice, man. But yeah, like you know how what is it? New Zealanders call each other Kiwis. We're the oranges. I
Yeah,
want that to catch on.
dude. I'm an orange. I'll orange
Yeah.
with you, brother.
Sweet. But yeah,
No, so I
man.
think
Yeah.
I think I'm excited to see where the scene kind of like takes off from here.
Mm. Like, yeah, I mean, Monarch's going to be the big thing coming up.
It really is, dude. It's crazy to think that it's really just like 5 or 6 weeks away. And after the news that we had the other day of the print runs put out, where now, you know, people realize that there's actually much less of these cold foils than people expected. I
Yeah.
think the hype is just going to get crazier and crazier from this point on.
Yeah, we could talk about that a little bit. And I think one misconception people have is the 22,000 number for booster boxes. The math was pretty spot on. I mean, I talked to the guy AC Whammy. His name is Tony. Do you know Tony?
I don't know him personally. I know I've bought cards from him off
Oh,
of TCG
nice.
Player, and his product always comes super quick and super well packed. So I like him.
Yeah, he's a really super cool guy. And when I talked to him, I mean, I remember when he did his math, and it seemed right at the time. Like it based on the information that we were given, I could tell you that it all kind of checked out. And I was going to be around 20 to 22,000 boxes, it seemed. But I guess something happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
What did we
guess,
get? It was 16,000, like 67, I think, 16,700 boxes. I think it
yeah.
was like right in that area.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And I mean, that's incredible. That's so much lower than what was predicted initially. But I mean, it just opened up so many questions. I don't know about you, man. Like, I mean, it tells us that there's 16,000 cold foils out there, but how many of those cold foils are hearts versus the common cards? We really don't know. So people are speculating like 300 hearts, 500 hearts, somewhere between. I mean, honestly, it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter at this
I
point. I
think
mean,
I think I've seen like 850 or 1,000. I mean, if you spend an hour or two in the Wall Street Channel,
Hmm.
you'll see many different answers, like
Yeah.
lots of different speculation. And I'm a creeper in that channel, because I don't really have. I feel like I don't have the knowledge to really go back and forth with like a lot of the people that are conversating in that channel. But I love to read it, and they're all everyone in that Discord has been super awesome. I haven't had any issues with anybody. I know there's been like a little bit of drama here and there, but it always gets like settled very quickly. Um, but yeah, man, just like the scarcity of the boxes is wild. It's crazy to think like what was the combination of things that led to Flesh and Blood like really popping off like this, you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, yeah, there's just so much stuff. I mean, but I mean, if you have that much print run, I mean, 16,666. We see Saint with like this, wall of booster boxes and his freaking Christmas tree of booster boxes. And
It's
I
beautiful,
love the
man.
guy. It's beautiful, and I think he's the perfect type of person that I would want to be a big whale in the community, because I don't
Sure.
want somebody who's a big whale who's just going to be like, "Hey, here's your return on investments and here's all your like, thing," and then
Yeah,
talking
he
about the
seems
game.
passionate.
He's passionate. Exactly. That's where I was going. It's not like dollars and cents. It's more of a he's passionate about the game because he really likes it. And yeah. And but turning towards that, it's like if he's out there, and then we've heard of other people like him being out there who have sealed product. I mean, how much of this shit's even open? How I mean, do you think like 20 or 30% of the print run is just sealed because people got in early? I mean,
I think like, do you think more of it is opened or sealed?
opened.
Open, 100% more of it is opened.
But I don't know by how much. I mean, if
Yeah,
if Saint himself has 10% of the print run, let's say like 10 to 8. I don't know. I saw a lot of boxes there, and he said he was
yeah.
gonna buy another 5% of the print run out. And he was estimating on the 20 to 22,000 figures, and he said 5% on one of his videos. So
That's crazy, dude.
So he might even have like 12. I'm just speculating. And he'd have to say on one of his videos. I hope he does. I hope he just flat out says, "Hey guys, print run came out, and I'm Mister
Yeah,
17% over here." I
that'd be
mean,
cool because I mean, like, Legend Story Studios, like, they're super transparent.
yeah,
You would hope that it would kind of like trickle down in that sense, where there's a lot of people who are like very hungry to find the numbers and like see the math.
hmm,
But I feel like there's gonna be people who like their secrecy is like they hold it very close to the chest. They don't want it known what their position is.
exactly. And that's where I was trying to go with. If he, let's be conservative here. Let's say he owns 10% of the print run, which is very, very, very plausible. Then how many of those secret people are out there who own even more percent? And then if there are more percent, then we're getting into the 30-40% people who just have stuff sealed. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a common theme too. Like I've seen that echoed once or twice in the Wall Street Channel. Like
really.
when Saint is brought up, people will be like, "Yeah, dude, like he's not even the biggest whale." So like I don't know if that is exactly related to WTR or if that person is saying that more as like an entire position.
Mhm.
But dude, just having that much sealed product like that, I I love it, dude. That's so cool.
I know. Yeah, again, I just want to, wrap up with him. Like, I think the guy's awesome, and I really like his videos where he's, just having a drink and just looking at his collection, and you can really hear the passion that he has for all the cards. But yeah, man, it was just crazy. But I mean, honestly, did you see it really move the market at all? I mean, I don't really look at the market, but the thing is, I think people already have the cards. I mean, at this point in time, like I think a lot of the people who had the cards to sell, they like took them off the market temporarily to see how everything would wash out. But other than that, like a lot of the rainbow foils and everything, like they're just gone. Like,
I think sealed Crucible boxes are slowly creeping up. I don't think there's been any significant changes in the last 24 hours. Like nothing has surprised spiked up. I think people are realizing now how few Crucible boxes there are, you know, so
Yeah.
those are starting up to get to like $900, $1,000. And funny little side note, I have one sealed Crucible box,
Nice.
and I had to order an acrylic case for the box just so it would like hopefully mentally make me not want to open it. So if I think, hey, I spent 30-40 bucks on this acrylic case, if I open this box now, I have this case that doesn't do anything for me. So hopefully when that gets here, that'll just help me not look at that box every day with hungry eyes.
And did you get super glue too, so you could super glue the case down?
Yeah.
So when you're having some drinks one night and you're looking at it, like, because dude,
Yeah.
I own a couple of crew boxes and I do not keep that in plain sight. Like I have that hidden like so far out of sight, because if I saw it on a daily basis and then just one of those nights where it's late at night and I'm drowsy, I'm like, it'd be fun to open a booster box. I
Yeah.
don't know. I
You
fiend.
watch a video of like someone else open up like a shard or something, and you're like, you
Yeah.
just look at it and you're like, oh man. I had two boxes, and then one day, just for like no reason really, I was just like, I'm gonna open one of those, you
Yep.
know. And then every time it wasn't a great box. I think the cold foil was. I don't think I got a cold foil in it. It was a bad open, but as far as like the market moving, I think that the biggest thing now is going to be the remaining cold foil commons and rares that are out there, because those are the only things that are kind of within grasp for most people. You know, I think that you look at the WTR commons like Snapdragons and Breaking Scales, those are kind of in the range from like 300 to 400 right now. And I think that that is something that, you know, more people can buy into that than they could a sealed arc box.
Yeah.
And the Crucible weapons. The Crucible weapons are climbing up like crazy. They've kind of gone from like 80 to 120 to 150. Now they're all kind of creeping around 170 to 200.
Jeez,
And,
it's crazy.
yeah, yeah. And even the ones that really have like no use at all, it just is that cold foil. I think it was one of the smartest things that Legend Story Studios has done when they say that they respect collectability.
Yep.
And the fact that like, hey, in Unlimited, in first edition, the cards are the exact same. The only real difference being that the cold foils are in this box, and that's what people really go after, you know? So I'm super excited to see what they have cooked up for the next set, and I am trying to find a couple of Crucible rares, cold foils. Like if I check eBay 2 or 3 times a day, and if they're at a good enough price, because I think they're going to be gone in a couple of
Yeah.
weeks.
No, definitely. I mean, and as time goes on, I mean, if you think about Crucible War, I mean, it might seem like a set that's been out for a while, but it's only been out for what, 6 months? So, I mean, can you imagine in another year or two that stuff is just going to be completely deleted off of the internet? I mean, it's still going to be there, but the price is going to be a lot higher because people want it most likely. And what's great about the whole thing with what you said with the collectability is like, you know, the common cards from Welcome to Wrath, like the Iron Rock gauntlets and the Iron Rock boots, you can buy the same card for 25 cents or 10 cents from Limited.
Yeah,
But
people will give it to you.
exactly, people just give it to you one for free. But then you have this cold foil card that's most likely 1 out of 1,000 or 1 out of, that range, and then that is what is driving up the price because people are like, yo, this is the first printing of this card in the rarest form. But
Yeah, my
yeah.
my LGS, the owner of that store got into Flesh and Blood like very early. He said that he had opened hundreds of alpha WTR, that he had sold a heart cold foil
Wow.
for like $500 back in the day when it wasn't like a big thing. And when I was there last Sunday, I traded him for a cold foil Snapdragon But I was like asking him about stuff, and he's like, dude, I would just like give these things away almost. You know, like if someone offered me $3 or $4 for a cold foil iron rot piece, you know, because there was just that point when like no one knew where the game was going. Like
Yeah.
distributors couldn't get rid of it. Nobody really wanted it or knew what it was. And another thing with that, like when we were just talking about Crucible, I've been playing trading card games since I was like 13 or so. I played like Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger. I'm 30, but I've never seen anything like Crucible, where there were like 2 months where Crucible was everywhere
Oh yeah.
for $80. You know, like very cheap, because it was the supplementary set. It wasn't draftable.
Yeah. And do you
It
remember
was,
that bullshit where they were like, "Oh, they're double printing it. They're printing a ton of it. Second wave
yeah,
is coming. It's gonna flood the market. Nobody's gonna want this." Yep,
yeah. There was a
I
lot
was there,
like,
man.
and I think I opened maybe like 4 or 5 boxes of Crucible, and I love Crucible as a set. I think Crucible is like a very awesome set. Like I love the aesthetic of a ton of the cards. I think they did a lot of Easter eggs for Monarch in Crucible, because there's a lot of card art where they're fighting these like
Dregs.
demons. Yeah, these
Yep.
kind of like you know, these like shadow monsters. So I think they were peppering in a lot of that lore. Um,
I think you're
but
right. I mean, the
yeah,
freaking box. The box, in my mind, I've made a video about it. I think it's the Solarium, which is in Solana, and basically it's where Dorinthia gets her Dawnblade, right? And it has all these different weapons and gold and stuff. And if you see on the box of Crucible, it's the Solarium burning down. So,
that's
yeah,
super
like
cool, dude.
I mean that's what my speculation. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not 100%. But if it's true, then you're right. I mean they're putting a lot of Easter eggs for the next set.
Yeah, and that's 100% something I could see Legend Story Studios doing, because they are incredibly dedicated to the bones of this game. So it's not just like, oh, hey, it's a card game. It's 100% mechanical based. Buy the cards. Like I've never seen another developer who puts out a lore book with their game when it's still in its infancy. You know, they're like, oh, we have one set out. You know, we're hoping that it takes off, but here's a hardcover book with the story of, you know, the beginnings of this world. And it's just something I've been thinking about recently. Like I like to play D&D.
Yeah, same. D&D is a lot of fun.
It is, dude. It's super fun. But I've been wanting to like put together a kind of like 1 or 2 session like adventure based in Flesh and Blood, where you can
Nice. You
make
use Flesh and
profiles.
Blood cards?
Yeah, like like not cards, just like the role playing of it.
Hmm.
Like have some characters be like, "Oh, you're gonna play a brute, you're gonna play a this," and just kind of like when I was my gaming store is like 45 minutes away, so when I'm driving there, I think about all kinds of like random shit.
Hmm.
And that was just like merging two of the things that I love together, of like tabletop role playing and Flesh and Blood. But if I ever do put that shit together, I'm gonna hit you up, dude.
Oh, for sure, man. And I mean, to go down that rabbit hole, I mean, I'm big into D&D too, and don't you think that this game could really go in that direction? Because picture this. What if you start out as like a warrior class, right? And your base, a level 1 hero, you start out with 20 cards in your deck. And then once you go to level 2, you get like 1 rare in your deck. And then level 3, you get like another card in your deck. And the way you level up is you get more cards in your deck. So if you're like level 50, then you get, X amount of cards in your deck, and you're fighting, monsters with that PvE stuff. I mean, that type of thing where you merge a D&D PvE element where you can level up a character. I mean, what's your take on that? I mean, wouldn't that be insane?
I like that a lot, dude. Like that is because you always hear about PvE kind of being this thing that um, is potentially always on the horizon, something that like people are considering.
Hmm.
and I've never thought of it in that direction of, role playing based with card mechanics. It do you play video games?
Yeah, I play
Have
video
you
games.
have you played like Slay the Spire? Have you heard of anything like that?
I've heard of it. I haven't played it, but yeah, it's a deck building roguelike, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's like a very popular genre at this point. Slay the Spire did a lot to kind of push it forward, but
Hmm.
now you can find a lot of different games in that vein. And I think Flesh and Blood could definitely find room in there.
Oh, yeah, more like that.
World of Warcraft used to have a trading card game, which I never played, but I played WoW back in the day quite a bit. But they had a PVE style adventure thing where they called them
Really?
raids. Yeah, they called them raids based on the thing that you would do in game,
Hmm.
where like 25 people would fight a boss. You would do kind of the same thing with one person playing the raid boss, and I think Magic the Gathering did something along those lines too.
Hmm.
Um, I think I think that Legend Story Studios is definitely going to cook up something cool. One thing that I would like to see is, so they're based in New Zealand.
Hmm.
There's another company based in New Zealand called Grinding Gear Games,
Yeah.
and they're the developers of Path
Path
of
of
Exile,
Exile.
which is a top-notch game.
That
If you
game is
ever,
amazing. Yeah.
it is. It's anybody watching, listening. If you've ever played Diablo and you enjoy that loot style game, and you enjoy playing games that you have to learn a little bit about to master, you should look into PoE.
I
You'll
like
enjoy
the
it.
seasons too. Like you can jump on like a new season coming out and you like start fresh with everyone else in the game. It's really nice.
Yeah, that's like the mechanic, the leagues, the way they do those, where it just has that innate replayability, to where it's like you can jump on, you can play for 3 weeks or a month, you kind of get burned out. So you stop playing for like 2 months, and then when you go to play again, there's brand new mechanics, always something new going on. But I think so the lead developer of Grinding Gear Games, his name's Chris. I can't remember his last name.
Mm.
He is a huge trading card game fan. He has there's a video where he's talking to Rudy, I think, and he's showing Rudy his like misprint collection for Magic the Gathering.
Is it
So
Tavis?
no, it's Chris something. It's
Kristen.
not Tavis. He's a super cool dude. He gets really nervous when he's on stage. So anytime he's doing like a big press release, you can tell he's like uncomfortable, but all of his fans love him. So it's just really like wholesome. Um,
That sounds cool. Yeah,
yeah,
like
it's
he's a
super
cool
good.
guy to watch. Like he's a cool guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just nervous, but it's like it's adorable. Um, but I have to think that he knows of Flesh and Blood. You
Mm.
know, if you're from the same area where this trading card game has literally taken the industry by storm, you're probably going to maybe send them an email. And James White definitely seems like he's somebody who is open to, like, like he's a giant nerd too. He
Yeah.
loves it. There's people that he looks up to that he would love to have a conversation with. So I would love to see them kind of like working together to do a PVE kind of game mode. And I would hope that it was its own sealed product, right? I hope it would be something that you can buy, kind of like how Magic the Gathering came out with Unsanctioned like
Mhm.
last year or a year or two ago, which is like a all in the box one product kind of thing.
Mhm.
But that would be super fun, dude. I think it would be
Oh
great
yeah.
in a gaming store, people just to like sit down and play and check that out. But I do like the idea of, you're level one, you have 15, 20 cards in your deck, you level up, maybe take some old ones out, put some new ones in. And if that sounds like an enjoyable thing to you, I definitely recommend you check out Slay the Spire, because I think
Yeah,
you
I
would
have to
like that
get
game.
that game. I've seen my friends play it like for hours and hours, but I had to drop the cash on that. But I mean, I think that the real thing it has going for Flesh and Blood is first off, it's you're playing as a hero. You know, that's what you do in D&D. You play as a hero, a person. You know, doing attacks and attack action. Did you play 4E like fourth edition?
No, honestly, So fifth edition is the only D&D that I've played, but the first tabletop game I started playing was Dark Heresy, and that's based in the like Warhammer 40K universe.
Hmm.
Um, but I have looked up some old mechanics for D&D to kind of like homebrew different rules.
Yeah.
Um,
4E
but
was like really like ability based. And that's why I could think it could be like on a trading card with that kind of stuff. And what's cool is, the best type of campaign that I ever ran with my friends. And I don't know if you ran it, but it was the deck of many things. And that was so legit. And what the best part of that thing, man, and it sounds really stupid, but the best part of that thing was you got to hold the cards when you're holding the deck of many things in your hand, you're like, wow, like this is in my physical realm, but it's also in my character's realm, and they're holding this. And along with that campaign, there's like some other like short sword or something, but it had a card. And that's why I think it
yeah,
would be awesome for Flesh and Blood, because I mean, you could even have loot packs that only have equipment. And then, and then not only that, dude, they have freaking currency in the game now too, copper, silver, and gold. I mean,
that's true.
they have so many different things where you as a character can start out with iron rod gauntlets and iron rod equipment, and then as you fight different things and level up, you can get different legendary equipment at certain levels
Yeah,
and
bro.
what have you.
They
But
gotta
yeah,
hit you up, dude. You're basically developing this game right now.
I think honestly, I think they have that already planned out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's already in the works. I don't think it's going to come out this year. I've said I
Nah,
think it's
I
going to come
think
out in
their plate is
2022.
full right now, dude.
Yeah, more than full. Yeah, with Monarch and trying to get to that type of game. But yeah, man, the sky's the limit. I'm just so excited this next couple months, man. It's gonna be
Dude,
lit.
I'm still excited for the next couple of weeks, man. How has skirmish season been treating you?
It's been good. I mean, I've only played in I think 2 tournaments so far, but
Got to
the
get those numbers up, dude.
I need to because
Those are rookie
I
numbers.
dude, I really want what is it? The playmat. That skirmish playmat looks so nice. And then I've seen the cold foil cards. Did you get anything?
Yeah,
You just shown? Sorry.
I got Rune Blade, got
Oh, nice,
Viscerai.
man.
Yes,
Cold foil?
yeah,
Nice. That's awesome.
it's crazy.
They said and when did you get that? It was
Um
like a week ago or
so
so?
yeah, I just got it like a couple of days ago in the mail. I think Channel Fireball handled the distribution for the Cold Foil Heroes
Hmm.
in North America, and that was just from the first wave. So Legend Story Studios said they were going to do 3 different waves, and the first wave was the first 4 weeks of skirmishes.
Mm.
So I participated in 4 skirmishes, like one a week throughout that time period, and I got Rune Blade. And it's possible to win more than one cold foil. Tower number 9 and a couple of other participants were able to walk away with more than one prize, which is super sweet. But that playmat, dude, that playmat is fire. I agree
Oh my
with you.
gosh, it looks
Shit is
so
gorgeous.
epic. I mean, what's really crazy too is those playmats really don't do justice with the pictures online. I mean, I've got the Mysterio one, and oh, it just looks beautiful in person, just breathtaking. But
Yeah,
overall,
man.
man, Skirmish has been great. I mean, it is just so smart for Legend Story Studios to roll that out, and yeah, I've been saying for the longest ass time, 2020 they focused Flesh and Blood on collectability. 2021, I think it's going to be a lot more on the players. It's going to be people playing the game. It's going to get people engaged, and Skirmish has really done that so far. I remember back in 2020, I did an event and it had like 30 people playing in the tournament. Now I'm seeing tournaments constantly, 64 people with a waiting list, and it's
Yeah.
just massive the amount of people playing online. And what's great about it too is when you're a local game store, man. I mean, if the ticket price is $20 each and 64 people are competing in your tournament, that's a
Yeah.
lot of money coming to you for literally like just
Running a
hosting
tournament.
it online. And I don't think that you don't even have to do prize support, and
Nope.
people will easily pay it because they want the playmat and they want the cold
Yep.
foils. And when you think about margins, I mean that just really helps their bottom line, I think. But just going back to the original topic, it's been going good. Yeah, I competed in 2 tournaments, and then I hosted the collective tournament with I co-hosted with AJ from Adventure Co Gaming, and I
Yeah,
saw
I
you in the
watched you
chat a
guys.
lot, man.
Yeah,
I love that. You were
hell yeah,
really
dude.
hyping it up. I appreciate
Dude, you
that.
gotta. I feel like I love, so like how you said you enjoy, you know, when you see somebody putting in the effort to make a video and you want to be like, hey, keep fucking doing that,
Yeah.
you know? I love streaming in that sense
I
where,
want you to have a meme that keep fucking doing that. Shout.
dude, because it's like that's
It's true.
another difficult thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's stressful. It's hard to always be on, you know? Like when you're making a YouTube video, you can set aside the 20-30 minutes to kind of be, you know, to put the spice on and just be like, hey, what's up, guys? Like you can turn that on. But when you're streaming, you know, you feel like you have to be on for
Yeah.
like 5 hours, 6 hours. And you know, like there can be dead air. You don't always have to be fucking telling jokes, but people are watching you. You have to
Yeah.
be mindful. You don't want to just like
cough constantly or
right.
yeah.
It's just like you have to be entertaining. Like whatever that means to you, to whatever extent you entertain, you have to make it an enjoyable show. So it's like I feel like when chat can come in and kind of like help you carry that burden, where like they can talk amongst each other, they can answer questions, they can kind of hype shit up. And it's like you don't always have that when you're first starting. You know, you look
Yeah,
at
no.
you look at established streamers and they have mods and their chat goes so fast you can't even read it.
Their
But
assistants
like
have assistants.
yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
when you're starting, you're happy if one or two people are talking in the chat box. So yeah, dude, it's like I feel like the people in this community hype me up. You
They're
know,
amazing. Everybody wants everyone to
the
grow.
it's the feedback loop, dude.
Yep.
And there's a clear distinction between feedback loop and circle jerk. You know,
Yeah.
feedback loop, circle jerk.
Yeah.
Everyone here is tight, and I think like there's also the room for criticism. You know,
Oh,
like
and I
if
love it. I love when people and constructive, you know, not like
of course, yeah,
completely derailing like
delete
horrible.
channel.
Yeah. Please do not do any more videos anymore. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
and it's
no.
like if I
It's
watch
very
someone's
helpful.
channel and they're like their audio's off, you can just be like, hey, you know, maybe try this, or you know, like, and I feel like no one, at least the people I've recommended that kind of stuff to, you know, they say thank you. They heart the message. They let you know that it's like they appreciate that because everybody just wants to improve.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, same with me. I mean, I've always wanted to hone my craft, and it's the thing is when you're first starting out, it's tough because it's like, I think it's two camps. Some people know exactly what they want to do and they do it, and then other people like me do freaking everything and then figure out what kind of stuff they kind of like the best. But I mean, I really I really respect the people who know because when you have people like Session Blood where they're saying, "Yo, we're two guys, we're gonna make a podcast, that's it." Like this is the type of thing. It's so clean to me. It's like, oh, you know, when you go to their channel, it's like it's one constant thing where you look at me from like, 3 months ago and I'm all over the place. I'm doing parody videos, I'm doing, box openings, I'm doing just everything under the sun. But I don't know. What do you think? What's your take on it? Because I know recently, like you've branched off into the talking videos. How are you feeling about that?
So I think like with Session Blood, there with those kind of content creators who they put forth one, you know, like we're gonna do a podcast or we do lore or we do this. It's very easy to look at that and understand if you like it or not. You
Yeah.
know, it's very easy to be like, oh, I like podcast, I'll listen to that. Or, you know, oh, I don't like lore videos. I'll you know, thumbs up, not gonna watch it, you know.
Yep.
Um, but for me, I feel like I'm still in that realm of like trying to branch out because there's still stuff that like I would like to try. Like I'd like to do top 10 list. I'd like to do, you know, some other kind of, you know, card review. I'd like to, you know, oh, top 10 cards for limited, things along those lines. But I'm still in the no edit gang, and I know you're there with me in the no edit
Dude,
gang.
I'll be there for life.
Dude, press play. So it's like it's harder with things like that because editing is very entertaining.
Yeah.
Like clean editing, that can be your entire video. You don't really have to say much. You can just put in good memes, cut to the good stuff. Like I'll watch that stuff. There's a lot of YouTubers I watch who are just mostly very crisp editing. So it like I think that when you are no edit gang, when you are just press record and let it ride, you everything you're like constantly trying new things. You know, you're just seeing what works because if you're in the middle, if you're doing a 20-minute video and 10 minutes through it, you say some weird shit or, you know, your dog in the background fucking does a backflip. You're
well,
gonna,
then you want to keep going with that one.
Yeah. Then you just scoot over. That's their show now. But you kind of just have to go with whatever, you know, whatever you capture while you press play. I think I'm going to be in that vein for the foreseeable future, like trying new things. I want to do gameplay. And that's something that like when I made my first video and you first sent me a message on the Reddit, you said that you were doing like a giveaway based on like teaching people how to play. And that's something I still want to like, I want to do that is have like gameplay because I feel like there's not a lot of channels that really do that at this point. There's a lot of commentary. There's a lot of financial advice. There's a lot of this, there's a lot of that. But I feel like it's hard for some players to just find a video on how to play the game.
Yeah, and I mean, in December I did I think that I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's the gameplay video tournament, and basically, what I wanted to do with that whole thing is, people have tournaments, right? But the thing is, it's all about who is the best at playing. I wanted to do it to where if you make a YouTube video of you playing Flesh and Blood in the month of December 2020, like any video that you put out, as long as you're having fun playing the game, then you're in the runnings, and that went pretty good. Not too much participation, but hey, I mean, I gave gift cards out, and I was happy to see the videos that were submitted. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough thing with giveaways and tournaments and stuff, but
I feel you, dude.
Worth it.
I think I'm gonna have to cross that bridge here soon myself because my channel is getting like close to 100 subs.
Nice.
And yeah, dude. So I'm enjoying it.
Put your hyperlink. You know about that?
Oh, no, I don't. I'm still very ignorant when it comes to all of this stuff, dude.
Yeah, once you get 100 subs, you can make your own YouTube hyperlink, and you can say like youtube.com/shout if it's available.
You see, I was wondering about that too, because like I have that on my Instagram. I have that for other stuff. But when I go to YouTube, it's, just like 20 different characters. So I guess you have to hit 100 and then you can make your own hyperlink.
Yep, 100 subs and you get your hyperlink. Mine
awesome.
is youtube.com/fabtcg. I've told LSS that whenever they want it, I'm here. I'll give it to them, because like once someone has it, they have it for life. Like unless I don't think something can take away. But that's awesome, man. And yeah, I want to like comment on the whole like the thing that I ran and with giveaways and stuff. In my mind, what I like is having something set up where the user can interact with it. So basically, I said, hey, I'm incentivizing people to upload YouTube videos to YouTube and playing Flesh and Blood, getting the word out. And then from that, I selected a number of people to give gift cards out. And what was cool is the gift cards I gave out were for MidtownMerchant.com, which is like, I really love that shop, man. Mitch, who runs
Mitch is awesome.
He's so fucking cool. So, I was helping him as a store because I was getting gift cards. I was helping the people, and I was trying to get people to make videos for the thing. And I've tried to stay away from the things where I just give free cards out for no reason and draws and raffles, because I feel like it just doesn't incentivize really anything. It just incentivizes people to, find different niche places in my videos where I talk about. And to each his own. I mean, I think there's a lot of places that are like shops and who are used to sending out cards and stuff. But me
Right.
personally, I hate sending out mail. It's the worst.
Yeah,
So
dude. It stresses me out.
I try to stay that far away from that shit. But I don't know.
That's something I'm gonna have to consider, because when I hit 100, I want to give away a sealed Ira deck
Mm.
to somebody involved with the videos. But I'm going to think about over the next week or so, because I don't think it's going to be overnight or anything along those lines. But I do want to find a creative way to do that giveaway. I think it's like, it might be a hard sell to be like, hey, like, create your own Flesh and Blood video and like tag me or let me know about it, and then
It's a
see
very
how many.
hard sell.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like that's asking a lot. And then there's some people who are kind of already making videos, and that's something else with the Ira deck, is like the Ira deck itself has gotten to this weird position where it's like a collectible thing,
Yep.
and
It's the
it's like,
welcome to investing deck.
it really is, dude. I mean, that's the last video I made was about how to spend $100 in Flesh and Blood.
I just watched that recently too. Yeah. Yeah, you said Ira deck. Yep.
Yeah, and I got inspired to make that video from another YouTuber who his channel is Ben's Trading Cards.
Yep. Ben trading card. Yep.
Yeah, and he did a video, and his whole thing, like, he was saying for $100, the Ira deck was like the thing to go for.
Mm-hmm.
And in my video, I talked about like how to spend $100 from like somebody trying to get into the game's perspective. But honestly, like, the Ira deck is there's 45,000 of those in total.
Yep.
And there's so many like little oddities about that deck, where like the head jab pop art is going to be gone. They're taking that out of the new ones. The Edge of Autumn has a gold embellishment on the side.
Yeah, that one's really.
There's just all these weird things about this deck that I think just add to its like rarity. It's kind of I can't think of the right word. It's very niche, and it's also like, it's the game's history. It was like the first thing they printed to get people into the game. But there's also this edge of like, feels bad because it is like it's a deck meant for new players to learn how to play the game.
Yeah, it's funny how that is. It's a deck that was supposed to be given out for free. It was completely free, but then, it became this thing where people realized how short the print run was, and
yeah, it's
and
first edition, baby.
Yeah, I mean, and it says 2018 on the cards. I mean, that's money. That's super money. I mean,
It is.
that's not even like Welcome to Wrath says 2019. So I mean, it's a year before that. And I know I agree with you. And this is not investment advice, obviously, but I mean, I think fully too. And I own some of the gold embellished Ira. What is it? The weapon? Because man, like
Edge
when
of
you
Autumn.
have that Edge of Autumn card, I mean, that is the same embellishment of the legendary cards. How can people? I think it's just a matter of time before people like get woke. And you've probably seen it in Wall Street, mainly a lot, is where there's a flavor of the week. Like there's some card, the flavor of the week, and then everybody just talks about it because some stupid reason, and then the price just jumps to insane amounts, and then it holds, and then they wait until the other thing to come over, and it's just a matter of time. And what's crazy is I think it's already jumped. Remember, I think Louis made a video about it a couple weeks ago, and it jumped up to like $40-$50 on TCG Player. I thought that was funny.
And that's where it's at now.
I love the guy too. Just letting you know.
dude. And Louis, that's something I want to say real quick, which I think is something that a lot of people can kind of relate to and like learn from.
Mm-hmm.
When I first saw Louis' videos, I was like a little put off, Part of me was just like, man, like I don't like this guy's videos. He's kind of just like, like there. I think a bit of it inside of me was kind of like, maybe like a little bit of like jealousy, a little bit of like something. But when I actually was able to like have a conversation with him and like talk on like one-on-one in person, it just it got rid of all that. And I was like, dude, this guy is really, really cool. And I'm admitting to that and telling that to the world so people can kind of be like, look at that themselves. Like,
Yeah.
is there anything that you see somebody and you're just kind of maybe like, meh, but like take the time to like have a conversation or just like be real with yourself about it, because you're going to stop yourself from having a lot of good experiences and having good conversations with good people if you let those like lesser feelings like take over.
Yeah. No,
But yeah,
that's a
Louis the
great
man.
point, man. No, I mean, it's really easy to see things as, black and white for what they seem on the outside, but I mean, if at first glance, I see that with Louis' videos is he's talking about the market of Flesh and Blood a lot, which is cool because a lot of people are interested. I'm interested. I watch a good
Yeah.
amount of his videos, but what's really cool is you hear after he talks about the numbers and everything how passionate is he about the game, and he says constantly like, hey, if it goes to 0, I don't care, love the cards, this is awesome. And he just has a positive vibe, and it's tough. I think I've talked to other YouTubers with this, is that you don't really know people until you talk with them like outside of the video. Like it's
Right.
very easy to see me in my other videos, and I'm a lot more animated, I'm a lot more like doing all this stuff with my
Yeah,
hands.
man.
But when
People
I'm
turn it on.
yeah, but when I talk to you with this, like this video, this is just raw. This is just like us
Yeah.
talking. So it's like it's hard to really understand who a person is just by watching their videos. I feel you there.
Yeah. And it's just like and the man hit the ground fucking running, dude. Like
Yeah.
he was putting out 2 or 3 videos a day,
Oh, he is the goat.
just getting in there, and part of me was salty because I was like, I just opened up a box of cards. Nobody wants to watch my card video, and this man's fucking crushing it. So I think, that was just like the saltiness in me, but like the man puts in the effort. And
Yeah.
that's a huge thing with these videos, like you were saying earlier, where it's easy to put out, you put out one video and it gets some positive feedback. It's very easy to be like, oh yeah, like I'm fucking YouTuber, quit my job. But it's like it does take that consistency,
Oh yeah.
and Louis also does a step up from us because he edits his videos,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
so there's like flashy, it has a nice little closer, it says fucking thank you for subscribing and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's a beast. And
Yeah.
and beyond all this stuff, on top of all this layers of stuff that you just said, I think people really have to realize too is none of us are really making any bank to like do this full time. We're just doing this because we love the fucking game and we want to
Yeah.
talk about it and we want to interact. And that's why I said like content interactor, because like when I talk about stuff in my videos, I get to see people comment on it and I have conversations with them, and it's a lot of fun time. We're interacting with people in the community via video instead of typing like an essay on Reddit. We're just making like a 20-minute video and then people can respond to things that they want. But, we're doing this because we just like the game and nobody's really
Yeah.
making like too much
No,
money to quit their day
it just
job. So, I
it's
mean,
probably
Louis,
cost me money in the sense that I'm like, I should
yeah.
buy a box to open up on the channel.
Oh, for sure. And like for everyone out there who's making content for the game, everyone's just doing a great service for it. And I don't know, it's really beautiful to see.
Yeah. And another great thing is just Legend Story Studios as a whole, dude.
Yep.
Because um quickly tying it into Skirmish,
Mhm.
the fact that Skirmish was the best possible thing they could have done to get people playing the game for 2 or 3 months before Monarch. It
Yeah.
does so much for the player base. It does so much for gaming store, or for like the actual LGS, because like you said, all
It's
they have to do is like
money.
run, yeah, and it's like, and Jim does like 50 like most of the work because players can just report their own record.
Yep.
So but this is all money and all product like from Legend Story Studios, like sending out these cold foils, sending out these playmats. And honestly, in a lot of cases, that's just like Legend Story Studios mailing you $600, or
Essentially, yeah.
mailing, if you get a Dorinthia, they just gave you $1,000, you know.
Is
So
it
it's
going
like,
for $1,000? That's insane.
I think people are definitely willing to pay it. Unless you get Rhinar, unfortunately. But like, I love Rhinar. But Legend Story Studios also does so much for their content creators, and I think that's one thing that I think
Yeah.
some people look at, and it will kind of like, it's like it's a thought that goes through your head, right? So if you watch your video of Red Zone Rogue or DM Armada opening up their thank you letter, you know, or you watch the video of Louis getting an E-Strike playmat for being like this pillar in this community so far, you know, like I think it's easy to see that and then be like, oh shit, so I just have to make some YouTube videos, you know, talk about Flesh and Blood, and then potentially I'll get a letter in the mail with like this fucking loot. But I think it's like Legend Story Studios really like pays close attention in the sense that these are people that have been doing this for a minute, and they bring something else to the table, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they definitely are selective. I don't know. I can't comment on like who they choose and whatnot. But like it is a good feeling. I mean, I got
Yeah.
one in December. I
Oh
got
dude,
one like,
I had no idea, dude. Congrats.
oh, thanks, man. And no, I
That's
really,
fire.
yeah, dude, they were really nice to me, and at that point in time, I'm happy, they did something because I think I had made
You
like
deserved it,
three.
brother.
Thanks, man. I had made like 300 videos just about Flesh and Blood, and I've just been talking about it and engaging with the community, and they gave me this thing back here. They
That
were
is
just,
sick, dude.
yeah, but yeah, and I mean, I hope you get one, and I hope a lot of people get one because it just
Yeah,
means a lot, Even just a letter, I just, yeah, it was very nice for them to do. I think
I
they did it around the holidays. They don't just do it willy nilly. I think they mainly do around. I think that's how Louis got his. It was like a late holiday. I don't know, but
yeah.
anyway, but
It
you're
like
right. No, that
if
shows
it's a
that they care.
deserved thing, you
Yeah,
know, like I think that has a lot to do with it, you know.
yeah,
And I think that's something that is like on the minds of like most content creators, because it almost feels like this ascension, this like next level. Like you
it's
were
like
noticed
breaking
by,
the fourth wall.
yeah, you were noticed by Senpai. You know, they're
Yeah,
like, here's your letter. But I even just like I emailed their like content creator network email, whatever, the other day,
hmm,
just to be like, hey, you know, like if there's ever anything that like I could do, or there's any kind of like language or something like that. um and just the fact that they have that communication open, where you can, they're totally open to hear from and respond to, you know, anybody that wants to reach out to them. It just feels like they're down to earth people who give a shit about the people that play their game,
yep.
which, coming from other TCGs, is a welcome feeling.
It's not like a robotic, cookie cutter response from some random contractor, out there who's just like, "Good day, sir," or "Madam." you
Yeah,
know,
right.
I think that is great. Like it's somebody, a person behind their, it's a person that you're talking to in the email, and you're right. Yeah, anybody can reach out, and I mean they've been very nice. I mean, I asked them one time because the PDF book was not working. Somebody a long time ago on Reddit put a link there, and the PDF book for the lore book didn't work anymore. The link. So I said, "Hey man, can I host this lore book? Are you good with that?" And they responded in a day and said, "Yep, go for it. As long as you're not profiting off of it, go for it." So I was
That's
like, "Oh,
super cool,
sweet."
dude.
Yeah, they're a really great company, and I think you said earlier too, the fact that they're on board with Tabletop Simulator, that's so nice. I mean, that's just such
Yeah,
a great program
that's a
for people
huge
to
point.
get into the game. And honestly, what's great is they don't have to do, anything. literally they just let the community deal with taking pictures of the cards and uploading to the site. Or I think they have card images online that they just
Yeah.
steal from. But that is just so nice, and that they're just so cool with it. But
Yeah, and it was definitely like that was an olive branch that they extended because it almost flies in the face of their philosophy in the sense of like they have come out and said that they didn't want to make their own online client, you know, because they want it to be flesh and blood.
yeah,
But it was like realizing the like the climate of like what the industry was like because of COVID, and saying, um, hey, you know, like this is an option we have. We need to support this person who's been doing all this work because it was mostly done by like one person, I believe, who kind of compiled all this information. Um,
I don't know who
and
that was. Whoever it is, kudos for you,
yeah,
man. Thank you.
it's the fabdb.net guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
You're
Kai.
awesome. I believe so. Whoever you are, fabdb.net, you're doing the Lord's work, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that stuff is really good.
Um,
He also does the linkage to the other thing. I thought that was someone else, but if that's him too, man, he's doing really good work.
dude, and the community kicks ass. One of the best things about Tabletop Simulator, and one of the things I really tried to like um, stress in my video, was that it's the only client, the only way to play like an online trading card game that doesn't require you to buy cards, right?
Yes.
So it's like you can spend $20 on Tabletop Simulator, which is already a great program for playing all these other games.
Any game,
Um,
any board game you want
yeah,
that's been produced since 1995, like anything.
it's super cool, but it's like you can put a heart and you can put any cards you want into your deck, and you can actually play. And there's also the environment of like playing in tournaments through Tabletop Simulator.
Yep.
So it's the only like online platform I've ever seen in a trading card game that lets you play for prizes without requiring, you know, $1,000 to buy the deck you want to play, you know? Because like
Exactly.
arena's fun and Pokemon Online is fun, but you need to buy packs essentially to like get the cards that you want in that game.
Yeah.
So it's hard enough to just have like to play a trading card game in paper, like physically. It's expensive enough.
Yeah,
But
but with
imagine,
tabletop, it's just $20, and then you're done. You have every
yeah,
single card that you'd ever want, and then you can go to FabDB and make as many decks lists as you want. And I've been thinking about it too, Shout, and it's like how I see it is I think it should be utilized a lot more coming up, man. Because when you have Monarch coming out, there's going to be so many people who just don't open their booster boxes, and even the people who do, the high valued cards, those legendary cards that are probably going to be equipment, right? Those people are just going to scoop them up, just hoarding them, and nobody's really going to get them to play. So I mean, I think that tabletop simulators there for everyone to just use, and they can use whatever cards they want out of the new set. Because if they don't do that, I think we're going to have 2 months of people just saying like, I like the game, but I'm not able to play the way I want because I don't have the cards available to me at somewhat manageable prices. So the way I was thinking about it, man, is what if you did this? What if you had two separate types of tournaments? One tournament is based on the tabletop simulator, and you don't get as much experience through the gem ID thing, but you might get like three experience per win. But then you are, the top thing, the prizes are actual physical cards and playmats. So if you win with tabletop simulator, the more you compete, you can sell that stuff to get actual cards. And then you have another type of tournament where it's the physical card version, right, with a webcam. And those you don't get as many card, prizes, but you get more of a experience based. I don't know. What do you think about that? And what do you think about tabletop simulator being used, going forward? I mean, in this environment.
um, I think for the rest of 2021, there's not going to be like so much organized play in person.
Mm.
I still think we have a long way to go, before everything returns to normal, you know? So I still think for most of the year, we're going to be in the same situation that we are now, mostly. You know, we're in South Florida, which honestly is like the Wild West. Like I'm going to go to my game store tomorrow and like I get to enjoy that, which I'm grateful for. But there's a lot of places across the country and globally where you can't. You're still on lockdown, you know, like you can't go and play at a store. So I definitely think there is room for Tabletop Simulator to have more of a position with like organized play. And honestly, like it's the only alternative that is kind of on the up and up, you know, because like with webcam, I haven't had any issues with any of this, you know, but if you play a webcam game against someone where like you can't see their hands, or, you know, like someone picks up their arsenal and then it goes off screen and something gets put down, it's like you it's unlikely that that person is cheating, but like you can never be sure.
It's true.
So yeah, so you can't really have events where you have a lot on the line with tabletop or with a Discord, because not everyone has the same setup. Not everybody is capable of doing this cookie cutter setup to where you can see everything. So I think that would be super cool, the two different format, or the two different tournament format, because some people do care a lot about experience.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I mean, I like it. I think the experience system is awesome. I hope that in the future they integrate more incentive and more prizes than the whole like, oh, if you hit 1,000, if you're the first person to hit 1,000, we'll send you a card. Like if there were milestones to where maybe they sent you a pack, or they sent you like some cool stuff,
or maybe like a season thing, like Path of Exile does, you know?
Right.
Like,
and I mean,
the new season's popping up, and that's a great idea. Some
they
incentive.
They already do 90 days, so they already kind of have a like a time frame separation, you know. So that'd be super cool. So maybe like the
I didn't
top
think about
20,
that before.
Yeah, the top 25 people in a region every 90 days, you know, you get different prizes. That would be fucking sick. I agree.
That would be awesome.
But I think the two different tournament format where you can play on tabletop for prizes based on your placement, you know, because it's and tabletop is also, in my opinion, works very well with streaming and like coverage.
Oh yeah, it works great with streaming. It's very beautiful, especially if you're that third person and you do the top down.
Yeah,
like Tower Number 9 does, the Davis. Oh man, it looks really crisp.
Because it's also like, I think the number one thing that people ask for whenever someone is streaming is card clarity. So it's like if
no glare.
If people are playing and you're like, oh yeah, he just slammed him with the crippling crush, pitching the this. If someone doesn't know what that is exactly,
just hold alt.
Yeah, it's super nice just to get a big, you know, read the card. So I think that tabletop lends itself very well to like the tournament scene and be in coverage. Side note, anybody out there, if you ever need somebody for commentary or something like that during a tournament, I've always wanted to try my hand at that. Hit your boy up. But I think like tournament coverage, I think, is super fun to watch through Tabletop Simulator.
I think you'd be good at that, man. You have a good commentator voice. I could see that. And you were a natural talker. Because it took me a long ass time. I am not a talker, honestly, man. It took me a long time to be able to talk fluently, but it seems like you just have a natural, you know, tone to it.
It was I like doing stand-up comedy. I don't do it like super duper often, especially during this pandemic thing. But I've always enjoyed like that. I enjoy the social aspect of like talking. I like making people laugh. I like making people feel comfortable. And I feel like I've spent so much time looking at this card game that I would like the opportunity to see how that goes, like commentating during a game, you know, with a co-host, talking about cards, talking about plays, because I feel like it's a very difficult thing to commentate during a game.
It
You know,
is,
there's only
especially
so
with
many
the dead
times.
air and like
Yeah,
all this stuff. And not only that, the hardest thing in my experience, my one experience, is that the the stamina required for you to go 7 hours or more of just talking nonstop with somebody and talking about different games, it's tough.
yeah,
It wears on you,
and
but
watching
it's a lot of fun.
there's only so many times you can ask, like, oh, so do you think he's going to Kadachi into Kadachi this
Yeah,
turn? You know, so
yeah,
it's like it's finding that the ebb and flow with your co-host, and um yeah, so I figured this was my opportunity for people to hear me request that, put that out into the world. But back to the two tournament format, I think I think that's a great idea. And because they've gotten rid of play anywhere,
hmm
so people can't really just build up experience hanging out at home and kind of recording their own matches, which I think was a good call. I think Play Anywhere had its
I
place.
agree.
You know, before the skirmish
That
season,
was
before
2020. This is a
yeah,
new era. Like, totally
it
agree.
really is, and it's like kind of going back to how skirmish has changed the game to where now so many more people are interested in playing online. You know, like now
Yeah.
if a store puts an armory out there and says that, hey, if you play, we'll possibly mail you a card, people are hyped to do that. So I like the game has changed. The gone are the days of not being able to find a place to play.
Yeah.
If you have a webcam now, you can play. Is it as top, you know, is it as top tier as playing in person? No, there's always room for error when you're playing online. You
Yep.
know, there's always the chance that your internet shits out or your mic is bad, or, you know, nothing will ever beat playing in person. And I
Oh
think
no.
that is part of the core of this game, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, I think that it's weird how when we go from a physical game to now we're playing online, right? Even though we have physical cards, we're still not playing in the flesh and blood. So if we're really not doing that already with webcam games, then we're really not changing anything from webcam to just the online digital realm. And we are, I guess, because we're not playing with physical cards. And honestly, man, I like touching the cards. It's a lot
oh
of
yeah,
fun.
dude.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like shuffling the deck yourself and that feeling of holding physical cards. But I've been a very big proponent for a long time that this game isn't that expensive. If you want to just buy the common cards and play with commons and rares, it's very accessible. And I've had other people say, "Well, Bronson, man, I want to compete." And I don't want to go to my local game store every week, and the guy with the legendary equipment beats me every time because he has like that extra 2 to 3 health.
Yeah,
And I
no,
thought, man, that's a
I
good point.
understand that. Yeah,
Yeah, and I didn't see. I'm more of a collector myself. I'm not going to BS anyone, so I wasn't looking at it through that lens. But when I heard that counterpoint, that's what made me think, well, maybe TTS isn't too bad, man. That does seem like the perfect compromise of people who want to play on an equal playing field, because then nobody can bitch. Everyone just spends $20. They can buy, build whatever deck they want on release day, and
yeah,
then everyone's happy like that. So I definitely think it has its place, and I definitely think if they separate it from, okay, these are webcam games, these are TTS, I think that would be good. And I made a video about things that LSS could do with the online realm, and I kind of got slammed for it. But I understand people's concern. I understand that Legend Story Studios, they made a game for people to play in physical, but it's just tough, man. It's tough
yeah.
when everything's going on and you have certain situations to where it does kind of solve a lot of the problems with people not having the cards they want to play with, and everyone being on the same playing field. So
This
it's
this
tough.
game this game has like already had its miracle moment in the sense that like it has not only held on to its popularity, but has absolutely exploded
Yeah.
in a time where you would think the exact opposite is supposed to happen. You know, like how can a physical trading card game become a juggernaut in the industry during a time where gaming stores are closing down and no one can really play? I think a lot of it has to do with the community,
Hmm.
like the people who are making the mod for Tabletop Simulator, the people who are building these websites, the vendors that are selling online. They put in a lot of the work to carry this game. Specifically in North America.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and the print run being so low.
yeah, which is crazy. Um,
But no, I agree with you. And what's crazy is, like you said earlier, is this shit has happened really fast. I mean, what was it? 7 or 8 months ago, it was crickets.
yeah,
Now it's an explosion.
yeah. Now everybody wants to get in. People who have never played the game before, and I'm not somebody who hates on people who don't play the game, because I definitely consider myself a player first. Like you said, like being able to like feel the cards. I probably goldfish and like shuffle my decks like 2 or 3 times a day. I'll just like pull out my deck box and set it here and just, you know, play a couple of ghost hands. Um, so I'm not someone who like tells somebody if you don't play the game, you don't care about the game. But I feel like there are a ton of people who are just they're getting Monarch pre-orders just because of the hype that's kind of around the game.
Yeah, because it's free tendies. I mean,
Essentially, yeah, dude. Um, and I'm glad that Legend Story Studios has made it so that Unlimited is only 3 weeks behind. I think that that is necessary.
mm,
I'm really curious to see how Monarch shakes out, because it's the first set we have where the first edition hits and then that's it. Like the first edition that hits, that's all the first edition you're getting. You know,
yeah,
3 weeks later, we're gonna have Unlimited. There's not gonna be a second wave. There's not gonna be, you know, oh, turns out
second
these
wave.
guys, right? You know, there's not gonna be some like, oh shit, like gaming stores are getting more.
Yeah, and what people don't realize is this is the first time that it's really being distributed to like Europe and a bunch of other places. Like I talked to a couple fellow YouTubers in Europe. They said they did not get Crew. Like Crew was like they just skipped Europe and a couple of, a lot of countries over there.
That's
So
brutal too,
it
man.
is.
Like
So yeah.
I really hope they can get Crucible Unlimited out sooner rather than later, because it's going to create a situation where um
People don't
prices are
have
going to be
access.
pieces of, yeah, because a lot of those cards are super crucial for certain classes.
Yep.
But I think there's also a solution there for gaming stores and tournament organizers to put together tournaments that maybe exclude Crucible cards. So it's kind of on a more even playing field with Welcome to Wraith and Arcane Rising. Um, but yeah, that's another, like, this is not financial advice,
Yeah.
but Crucible Majestics are they're gonna dry up relatively quickly.
Yeah. Well, and when you have that kind of thing, well, how much stuff of Crew do you say, like, okay, not no, not Majestics of Crew, and then do you do that on Monarch, and it's just a slippery slope of like, okay, well, how much stuff do you take out, and then in that aspect, I think it's just better to be like, yo, like, have webcam and then tabletop, and it's like,
Right.
yeah, because tabletop solves that whole issue of card availability, and I think that's going to be a big issue going forward, and I think it's a blessing and a curse, man. Like it's a blessing because it makes it so people have more demand for the game because they can't get it. Everyone wants stuff that they don't have. It's that age old thing. But then it's a curse because people can't play the game to how they want and to its full potential. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it makes some people very happy, and it upsets some people a lot, because the people who can build a position, they feel fantastic because the position that they have has a ton of value, and the people who can't get any, they blame Legend Story Studios. It's very easy for someone to just have one bad experience and swear something off, you
hmm
know, because it's your perception is your reality. So
Totally agree with that.
if you feel that like, oh man, there's no way I can get cards, fuck this, like I'm not gonna play this game. It's very easy to just think that and be done with it. And something I want to put out into the world, anybody listening, if you are a player who is really interested in this game and it's very hard for you to find product at all, get in touch with me through like YouTube Messenger. If you're a new player and you're just trying to find some starter decks to play, I have so much bulk from all the like the boxes and whatever I've gotten. I've already mailed out some decks to people across the country. I honestly am doing nothing with these cards, and I'd rather put something together for two people to be able to sit down and play. So just side note, if you are the person that I'm talking about and like you want to play, you have a friend, you guys can't find anything, try and get in touch with me and we will figure something out.
That's so nice of you, man.
Dude,
That's so cool.
it just I feel like it's something that needs to happen because like
And I'll put all your information down below so they know where to
cool, dude.
contact you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it's just like because it's easy for me to get product. Honestly, like when I go to my gaming store, there's 3 or 4 boxes that are opened up that are basically a box minus the foils and the supers and higher, right?
Really?
So yeah, so it's like me
You just put them out on the counter and say, "Hey,
yeah,
whoever wants this shit."
basically yeah.
That's so cool.
There's 4 Time Twister Games in Davie, Florida. Because like so me and my friend John at the store, we have bought a box before, and then we'll sit down and we'll open the box and we'll build a blitz deck out of what we opened in the box. It's actually something a lot of us are planning on doing with Monarch. We're just going to open up our Monarch packs, build a blitz deck out of what we open in our box, and play a couple of games. So me and him do that, and then we'll take out our foils, and we'll take out the supers and the majestics and everything, right? And then we'll just put everything back in the box, and we'll put that at a place where anybody can walk up and grab it.
That's so cool. I was
Yeah,
thinking about doing like that game stores should do that more because honestly, the bulk stuff, it's impossible to move. Might as well
right.
just give it out to customers for free to get them to come back, over and
Yeah,
over. Just give out the bulk because honestly toxic inventory. What are you going to do? Sell 4 cent cards
you'd
online?
have to. There's people who buy it, but it's a pain in the ass. I
It is
imagine
a
to get
huge pain in
together,
the ass.
and it's
That's
just
really
like
cool.
we will go to fire off events. We'll try to do a blitz tournament, and we'll maybe skirt by with 8 people if the store owner and the other guy working the counter both play. So it's like we have to reinforce, we have to nourish like the new player, the player base that comes in, because something I talked about in a video before was like it's so hard to sell somebody on this game if you're like, oh hey yeah, you like this game, you just have to buy $100 box and then put together a
It's
complete
true.
pile, yeah, a pile of nonsense, and it's like I have like 5 or 6 decks. I have one of the big super hive deck box things, so
Hmm.
I have like a couple of deck boxes, and whenever I go there, if there's like a newer player and he like knows how to play the game, and I'll ask him if he's played trading card games before, like I'll lend them a deck to play through the event with. But I know, I think a lot of it, especially in North America, in a lot of these regions where we don't have a ton of players physically, we have to do like as much as we can to like get people into the game.
Yeah.
So it's like so yeah, if you're a newer player, you want 2 blitz decks, 2 CC decks, whatever you like, Kano, you like whatever you like, hit me up. We'll work some shit out,
It's so
because
nice,
North
man.
America, dude, shit is gonna pop off here in North America.
It is gonna get really popped. You're gonna get a ton of emails. But I mean, alternatively too, like to your point, if someone's trying to get into the game, bulk commons you can make decks out of. So anytime you want on eBay, there's at least a couple of sellers who have like bulk 100 commons for like $10 a piece. You could spend like 20 or $30, get like what, 300, 400 cards. You could get them and then basically just sift through them, make a couple decks. I mean, you could even go on TCG Player and make, really cheap decks. The cards are like
Yeah.
25 cents each. You could make an IRA deck essentially. The welcome to the introductory to investing deck, the welcome
Right.
IRA deck. You can make it with other sets for, I would say, maybe $10 to $13. It's very cheap alternative printings of the cards,
Yeah.
except for the
And
Springboard Somersault, which you
sink
can,
below.
yeah, sink below. Exactly. Just
Yeah.
substitute
And
that out.
a lot
But
of a lot of
yeah,
super rares are made are like a lot of super rares are like 50 cents a dollar,
yeah.
you know? So
Oh
it's like,
yeah, those are really cheap too. But even
yeah.
regardless, the common creep, what is it? The power creep of common cards is very high. So you're going to be able to play the game even on a competitive level. You might not do as good as other people with
Oh
the,
yeah.
but you're still not going to get your ass whooped. And what do
Right.
you think about that, compared to other TCGs? Because, when I first started playing, that's really what I noticed at first glance. I was like, "Oh my gosh. These common cards that you get all the time, they actually are good." Because with other TCGs like Magic the Gathering I play, like you'd open a booster pack and all the cards in the beginning were kind of like not as useful. I don't know.
Yeah, you just like you throw that shit to the side. In a
Yeah,
magic pack, you're looking like for the rare. That's it. You just in Flesh and Blood, something I love about the game is how close 90% of the games are. I've had a couple of games where
yeah,
like I'm at 16 health and the other person's dead, or there are those cases. But really a lot of it comes down to blocking effectively, um, playing your arsenal right. So
yep.
it's like a lot of these smaller decisions that you can make. I honestly believe that if you handed a very skilled player like a budget low tier deck, and you handed somebody who didn't know a lot of the nuance of the game top tier Dorinthia deck, that the budget player could wreck them, because all it
I
takes is
totally agree.
putting the wrong card in Arsenal locks you out of Arsenal for the rest of the game if you can't get rid of it, or you block ineffectively. So I definitely enjoy the that's why I agree with the drone and brutality ban personally. Not so much for the meta currently, but just for design going forward, because
Yeah,
it lets them not have to worry about that card always being an issue. Um, but no, I think the game is one of those easy to learn, difficult to master scenarios where it's like, especially with the IRA deck, the introduction to investing, it's difficult. I really hope the new 2020, the 2020 ones make their way around,
yeah.
um,
Hopefully that print run is leaps and bounds higher.
because it is such a good deck to learn how to play.
Yeah, it is.
It's the first deck that I played the game with. Like, I taught my girlfriend, I taught a handful of friends around me, and it's very clean. It's very easy to understand, especially with Ninja and Go Again and kind of just the back and forth of that fighting style. The game is so thematic. I love it, dude.
And I like how it's a mirror match. So if you lose, you're like, well, we were on the same playing field.
Yeah.
It's,
And it's
Ira.
like if you
Yeah.
lose, you can see what they did to beat you,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh shit, I have that card too. And with the Ira decks, I feel like it's always like 1-to-1, or maybe the person's 2 or 3 health up. I've never had a blowout game with that deck.
Yeah. And that's a great, it's a great feeling like that. I know what you mean. When both players are very low health, like 2 and 1 health, and we're going back and forth, and those games are so clutch. And you're
Dude, it's
right. I
so
mean, all the games are just very close. And there was something on the banners of Flesh and Blood. I don't know if you saw it. I've talked to other people in the past, but it said 100% great games. And at first when I saw that, I was like, that looks pretty lame. Like, what does the 100% great games mean?
Yeah,
But you have to actually play the damn game to find out, like, oh, this is what they meant. Yeah, 100% of these games are great. It's
right.
not a game where you're going to draw a bad hand and then you're screwed from the beginning and you can't play and you're screwed from the beginning.
And
It's little decisions along the way, like you said. And it's just,
even in the game that someone's at 16 health and the other person is dead, there's often like a critical error was made,
yeah,
right? So you're able to realize like, oh shit, I shouldn't have blocked with all of my equipment, or oh man, I could have arsenaled this and opened up this line of play. So I feel like even in those moments, if to get into a position where someone has completely blown you out, um, there's normally something you can look back at and be like, okay, like let me try this differently next time. That's something that I've enjoyed about the game. Something that I is lost on me when I play Magic is like it's easy just to get to lose the game, like have a non-game for no reason. You know,
yeah.
your opponent, and like I love limited format. I like drafting and I like sealed and stuff like that. But even in a game of Magic, even if you built an awesome limited sealed draft deck, whatever, if your opponent draws the nuts and you miss a 2-drop, or you know you miss the one opportunity you have to kind of get back into the game, it just feels bad all
Yeah.
around. If and I love Flesh and Blood, I love the one uh like the one match. It's just one fight, you know?
Yep.
It's just it's so thematic.
And if you get a hand you don't like, you just block with all your cards, and then you wait for the next, round of cards that you get.
That's another great thing too, dude, is the nuance of going first in
Yeah.
Flesh and Blood. Every other trading card game, you're kind of
Oh yeah.
you're led to believe that going first is the better option. But Flesh and Blood is the first game I've played where it's all matchup dependent.
That's a
So it's
great point.
like if I sit down to play somebody and I'm playing Brute or I'm playing Guardian and they're like, hey, you can go first, because it's just like they're not sure. They haven't played that matchup. They haven't had that conversation.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just, and that never happens in other card games.
It's
Everyone's
so
just like,
true. Like,
whoever wins goes first.
exactly. It's always better to go first no matter what. You get so much more thing no matter what deck you play. But with Flesh and Blood, what I've realized is if you're playing a tempo deck like Dorinthia, you always go second. Because what you do is first turn, you just block with all your shit, no big deal. And then on your turn, you gain that tempo where
Right.
you attack and they have to dump, and then you gain that thing. Whereas if you're going against like a Brute, I think it's always better to go first. Because
Yeah.
what Brute does is he intimidates your cards out of your hand, so he essentially gets tempo
Yeah.
doesn't really matter with
Free
him.
turn.
Yeah, he gets like a free turn on you, so he doesn't really give a shit about tempo. So yeah, that's a great point, man. And every other TCG I've seen, yeah, going first is always the best, but with Flesh and Blood, it really is. It can go either way. And have you noticed too there's certain cards that are good first turn. Like with Guardian, when
Potions.
yeah, potions. Potions are amazing. But even like cards like Towering Titan. When I first saw that Towering Titan Blue, I was like, when am I ever gonna play this card? This seems ridiculously like low probability, but when you think about it of hey, it's turn one and you can put that thing down, that is huge. That is a huge
Yeah.
turn one card to play. And it's
That's
cool how to
threatening.
see that. Yeah.
I've the painful thing about Towering Titan is it says Guardian attack action, so
Yeah.
you're just like praying that you get like a playable action, like an attack action.
Yeah.
Because I've put that card down and then drawn into like nothing and just been
Oh,
like,
it's tough.
fuck. But I love Bravo. Bravo is interesting to me because like when I first started playing the game, I looked at his play style and kind of like the aesthetic, and I was like, I don't like this guy at all. Like I didn't think I was going to enjoy Bravo.
He's very
But then,
slow, it seems.
right, I played a bunch of Rhinar, and Rhinar is like it's very easy to go through all your cards, and it's so like the first couple of times that you 50-50 fuck up and like discard the wrong thing and just lose the game on the spot, you're kind of like, I need more consistency.
Yeah.
And Bravo offers that because it's such a like a good slow burn. You get to set up stuff, and being able to swing with your hammer whenever you're just like, I don't really want to play cards. Like being able to pitch your whole hand and still do some damage just keeps your deck alive. It's and he's also the best class for sealed, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think like Dorinthia can really come together if you get, I'd say like 3 or 4 copies of Warrior's Valor, which is a rare, so it's like kind of hard to do in 6 packs. And if you get Refraction Bolters as one of your equipment. But I feel like Guardian, just because he keeps his deck alive by pitching a lot, it's very easy to run out of cards in limited.
Yeah, because with Guardian, like 60 or 65% of my decks are just blue fodder, where it's like either I'm going to defend with this shit or I'm going to use it for an attack. So it's like it's really no big. So you could get like just a ton of blues.
And being able to dominate in limited is very powerful.
Oh, I bet.
Because equipment quality is super low. So, you know, people aren't going to have like 5 or 6 health inherently through their defense. So just being able to like attack with a 6 or 7 damage card, forcing through damage that your opponent really can't deal with otherwise. So it's a tip out there for people who are going to start playing limited when the game starts to get out there more and people can go out and play. Because sealed is fantastic. Draft is a little bit different, but
I'm so looking forward to that, man. I've never played sealed in my life. I'm more of a collector, and that's why this is so big to me, man. Because the gameplay is just so much fun that once I started playing it, I got the itch, I got the bug, and I want to play as much as I can. And yeah, sealed looks good too because that helps with the whole argument of I don't want to have stuff. I don't want to play this game if I don't have the cards I need. Well, in sealed, nobody has the cards they need. You know, it's more of a you are a good deck builder and player, and that's what's really cool.
Challenge.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's super fun, and it's also just kind of like the experience. It's enjoyable to open up 6 packs. You get that rush if you open up a legendary, because you're just like, oh, I paid $25 for this event, and I just opened up an $80 card. So you have already won that day.
Yeah.
Last Sunday, we had, I think, 10 players, and 2 people opened up a tunic.
Damn.
From WTR.
That's insane. The same box or 2 separate boxes?
2 boxes.
Okay.
But still, 2 players opened up a tunic.
That's ridiculous.
It's awesome, dude. So it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, even if you end up having a bad record or whatever throughout the day, you got to open up 6 packs. You could possibly pull, you know, some fire. And it just kind of forces you to play cards that you possibly wouldn't have played before.
Yep.
You know, you're kind of like
find synergies that you might not have found before. I totally agree.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's something I always notice too is like people will end up building Dorinthia, but then they'll have Goliath gauntlets, or they'll have something to where, it'll just be like I'll be watching them play, and then like Goliath gauntlets is like, oh, the next attack that costs 2 or more that you play, and after the game, I'll be like, hey man, like, do you have any card in your deck that you can use Goliath gauntlets
like Demolition Crew or
yeah, you know, so it's just like it's kind of people kind of learn how to assess cards on a different level. And I think that does carry over to constructed formats to where you're like, when you're thinking about what your 40 are going to be.
Totally agree. Because then you're like, hey, maybe this strategy can work in constructed. Maybe this more aggressive way can. I mean, though, Shout, man, what if you open a Fable when Monarch comes out? You're playing sealed. You open up the new Fable card. Tell me, here's your options. You know, this is like one of those storybooks. You know, do you A, play like normal, or B, you know, go to your car and just drive home? Or, I don't know. Like, what do you do? Like, that's what I'm wondering, because that card's got to be at least 1,000, maybe more. Not investment advice, but what do you do, man?
I would I'm friends with everybody at my store, so I would get up and I would flex first. I'd be like,
yeah, I did it.
I probably wouldn't play it Uh, I will play unlimited fables. Like I'll put an unlimited heart into a deck. Like I know heart is worth like $550, or you know, I
You'd
feel
sleeve
that.
it, right?
Of course, dude.
Yeah.
Double sleeve it. And I don't double sleeve everything, but if I had a deck that had something like that in it, I would double sleeve it. So I'll play with unlimited fables. But if it's a cold foil fable like that, I nah. I'd ask the store owner for a top loader. I would go and put it in my car in a temperature controlled area. I would lock my car. I'd probably drive my car to a hidden location.
Because you
But
heard about that thing that happened in, I think it was Australia or New Zealand, where this guy got like all three Fable cold foils stolen and like a bunch of really crazy, like a Shiana. Like it's scary,
oof,
man. And when these card prices are like $2,000 or $3,000, I mean,
yeah,
it's hard to when you have people around, you don't know who you're with, and I mean
no,
sometimes you do if you're in a local store, but I don't know, it's just scary to me, and
yeah,
I hope everybody out there is very cautious because
right.
when you have that big amount of money on the table, I mean you're talking about like 2 to 3 months rent for somebody for
It's
like
crazy,
one
dude.
piece of card. It's
Like in
ridiculous.
in my deck box, in like the super hive or whatever I have, there's 7 decks, right? And if someone just picked up that super hive and walked away with it, that's probably like 2,500 to 3 grand just in like rainbow
Wow.
foils, you know, because there's tunic, there's mask, there's all the equipment you can think of. There's like spoils of war, light and strikes, like, you know, and it's
Yeah,
like
it's a
I
lot.
I'll leave it on the table at my game store sometimes and like walk outside to vape, you know? And it's like I feel 2 different ways about it because it's like, yeah, I'm cool with everybody in that store, and you feel it's very easy to trust. I feel like for some people,
Yeah.
it's easy to be like, oh man, I've had like 3 conversations with you. We're good, bro. Watch my dog.
Yeah.
Um, but it's tricky, man. You just never know. So it's like, are you always keep an eye on something? But I couldn't imagine losing, uh, fuck, all 3 fableds and
Yeah, yeah, that's just a horror story. And I mean, but the thing is, like with those cards, it's like what happens in another 3 months when those things spike. But all in all, I hope everyone's safe. But yo, Shout, man, thanks for talking with me tonight. I appreciate it, man. You're an awesome guy.
dude,
What
you
else would you
you
like to say before we wrap this up? I don't want to keep you too long.
you are my nocturnal brethren, dude. Because
Yeah, man,
I'm
fellow
pretty sure
Orange.
you stay up late, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so do I.
not every
Very
night.
no,
Not every night, but some nights I stay up till 4 or 5 a.m.
yeah, I'm kind of like that almost on average. I feel like it's unhealthy. Trying to change it, but no, man, I'm chilling. My channel, I'm gonna try and upload like 2 or 3 videos a week. I'm gonna try and start talking about random stuff. I think tomorrow or Monday I want to do a video where I take the judge exam that's on the FAB TCG website. So I'll just be like taking the exam, going over the questions, and then we'll see how we do at the end of the test.
That sounds
Um,
cool. It's like
yeah,
a tournament. It's like a test you can do, and then
you've never
from
seen
that
it?
you no, I haven't, and that you can say like you're a judge afterwards.
No, it's not like official in that capacity. It's a 50 question like questionnaire, and a lot of it is just game mechanics and like, you know, priority and this and that. And it's really just to gauge uh your game knowledge. It doesn't lead to any kind of certification. At the end of the test, I've taken it before and I think I got 40 out of 50. But it was like a month or two ago and I forget stuff very easily. So it'll be an all new experience. Um, but no, I highly recommend checking it out, dude. And it's something that when I make the video, I'm gonna like recommend it to other like flesh and blood, you know, YouTubers. Be like, hey, you know, take this quiz and see how you do, because the game can be very confusing.
Oh, for
So it's
sure.
like it's useful to take that test and see what's up.
I want to
But
see a collector's exam. What's the
oh,
print run for?
dude, Wall Street. A lot of people in Wall Street would fucking probably smash that.
That'd be so
I
much fun.
I'm Nah, man, I'm chilling. I had a very good time talking to you, dude. Um,
Yeah,
if you ever
same
want
too,
to,
man.
if you ever want to talk again in the future, hit me up. Again, any of those players, if you're new to the game and you want to get into the game, reach out to me. I'm also on Instagram on a ShoutManTCG. I just like post pictures and talk about the game in some extent. It's easier to take a picture than it is to upload a YouTube video, so I kind of wanted to dabble in both. Um, but otherwise, I'm going to my local gaming store tomorrow, and I'm going to try and win a cold foil Benji. So wish me
Oh,
luck.
good luck, man, in that armory. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
I
they're
think those
super
video.
fun.
Oh yeah, I think those videos where you talk about stuff are really cool. I've been really enjoying that stuff from you, and I really like how you're engaging with the community. And thank you too, man. Like when we did that thing with AJ with Adventure Co, it's nice seeing you. Just like, yeah, like
Yeah, bro.
let's round two. We're going
Hype,
to the
hype, hype,
finals. You hype that shit up like
dude.
to no end. So I really
It was hype.
appreciate that. You're a
Hey,
really
no
cool
problem,
guy in the
brother.
community too. And
I'll
it's cool when all of us do that, you know?
yeah, and I think that's going to happen more and more, man. Because I mean, we also have the Discord Gauntlet. You
Yep.
know, so there's already more and more events forming where people are just, these organizers, these guys who want to take that step, and those people should be appreciated. Should always tell somebody, you know, thank you. Let them know that you appreciate the fact that they're, putting in the effort to put these tournaments together, because there's a lot of big stuff on the horizon from Legend Story Studios. I do believe that in like 2022, we're gonna see calling North America, and we're gonna see
Yeah,
some of these
worlds.
yeah, we're going to see these big things brewing, but the foundation is being laid right now by fans in
Yep.
the community. And I think LSS notices that. I think they care. I think they appreciate it. And it all goes back to the feedback loop, not a circle jerk, you know? So
Yep.
that's one thing to take away from this conversation tonight. Anybody listening, that Flesh and Blood, this community, is a positive feedback loop.
Yep. And it's, you can always be part of the community like us, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to, in 20 years, I'm going to be, in my retirement home drinking a nice whiskey and I'm like, "Yep, I was there. I was there from
Yeah,
the beginning, man."
you're going to be live streaming that,
Yeah.
and people are going to be super chatting you. You're
Live
gonna
stream from the Sunnydale retirement village.
you're gonna be
Bronson.
cracking boxes, dude.
Yeah.
Literally grandfathered in.
Well, yeah, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. I'll talk
Hey,
to you
I
soon,
appreciate
man.
you, brother. Be safe. Have a great night, man. I'll
You
talk to you
too.
later.
Peace.
Safe, dude.